Professor Davor Svetinovic from Khalifa University, senior member of IEEE, lifetime member of ACM, and affiliate of the Mohammed bin Rashid Academy of Scientists. Professor Svetinovic is a leading expert in AI, blockchain, and privacy-enhancing technologies whose research has directly influenced the core infrastructure of major global platforms. Please welcome Professor Svetinovic.
Great. Thank you so much. Okay, great. So as the introduction, if you have attended Professor Sandy's talk today, the title of this talk is very similar. What was his talk about? He literally disclosed every single upcoming venue where we are going to make money in this field. Digital economy is coming, including, for example, MEVs that he mentioned, the complexity science that he mentioned, foundational stones of what will be the leading upfront when it comes to the digital economy. So this work is based on 2 papers and 2, I believe at the end I have included directly 2 upcoming projects that are directly automating and kind of going in the direction of leveraging all the issues that Professor Sandy pointed out. If you take a look at this particular paper, literally we have several leading names in the Ethereum community, including Vitalik Buterin. It was very recently published about our major initiative to tackle the most critical issue when it comes to Ethereum. Literally the platform on top of which all the companies, leading institutions are building things right now. What is the major issue? The major issue is that it's lacking all of these advances over the last 10 years, 15 years, with respect to preserving our privacy. But Bitcoin is private. No, far from it. When you enter, when you exit, I know I can trace you. You're fully public. Everything that you have done. Okay? What has to be done? Lots of fascinating Monero, Electric Coin, Wasabi, cutting edge ZQ EVMs, cutting edge crypto research. What is the problem? The problem is every single one of these amazing publications has created a new silo. What do you have to do to leverage it, to use it? Please create a new Bitcoin, new Ethereum, do the network propagation, and get the billions of people to move in order to leverage your cutting-edge technology. At the same time, what challenge are we facing? We are facing the challenge of tremendous difficulty on fixing the already existing systems, which are not up to the par. So what have we done? We have thought about how to include all of these stealth addresses, which, by the way, a stealth address is not another stealth address. What is the ultimate goal behind stealth address? You transfer money to me, no one else in the world, including even me, I don't know that you transferred until I actually find it. Okay? How can we build this into the Ethereum? And we will see why we have to build it, which directly links to what we were listening today in the keynote. We have to work on it hard, obviously. Systems where there is always a way. So we came up with it. We came up with a proposal, which is currently being implemented. Scheme ID, stealth address, the public key, and metadata for the user experience. We publish, we create our account, we transfer, we share it. It gets traced back, so it's functioning. However, we have to incorporate all of these existing. We will make it user-friendly and leverage all the existing technologies, including the upcoming ones that are coming in. Okay? The lesson is, we are building now infrastructure of an ancient, outdated technology, which Ethereum is, in terms of the advances that have happened in the last 10, 15 years. Bitcoin, ultra ancient compared to the state of the art of the technology. But they are the only ones that we can build up on, okay? Tremendously critical to keep up and tremendously hard to change. So can we get it as good as possible from the start? We are trying our best. Why does this matter? Second paper. The first one is, I can trace, I can see, I know who you are. The second one is, all of these amazing authors behind the paper, not just that I want to know who you are, I also want to know what you do, okay? I don't want you to have any neutrality. And also I want your agents to know. I want your patterns of trading. I want your arbitrage movements. I want your loan liquidations. I want to know everything. So the second paper, Blockchain Censorship in WWW last year, we worked and published the overall notion. Privacy primitives are not sufficient. We have to redo something in the major platforms, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and similar. But even once we do that, again, it's not sufficient. Because privacy is fragile without network neutrality. Transactions must be includable and timely. What is the impact of this neutrality? Even if I don't know who you are, if you have dealt with several particular accounts, I don't want to let you anymore function within this system. Okay? You're a nice agent, you scored, you are making big money. You won't do it anymore, unless I see profit in it. This is referring back to what Sandy was talking about, the aggressive agents and defending of the agents within the overall system. So to have it, we have to have privacy, which is prerequisite for the neutrality. And if we want to achieve autonomy for the agents, we must have the very proper chain properly done. Why does this topic matter now? It matters because post-merge Ethereum changed who is making block. Completely new dynamics. If we are changing again, it's going to undermine the whole system, because we are building the infrastructure on top of the infrastructure. Policy pressures, sanctions, compliance directly shape on the on-chain behavior. And it's going to be at the lightning speed, the way it was referenced in the keynote. At the lightning speed, and the impact of doing something like this will be tremendous with respect to the market leverage. With a simple MEV hack, now you can fully destabilize the system. DeFi strategies and privacy tech both break if inclusion becomes biased and slow, and understanding and mitigating this censorship, which is attacking my neutrality, is now prerequisite for the credible systems. So what our censorship work that we published contributes, we have created shared vocabulary of everything that counts as censorship. We have mapped where the actual leverage sits within all the parts of the production chain within the ecosystem, and we have created actionable levers to keep the network neutral. So basically, the pulls and pushes where we can build in this neutrality. So overall, it creates a toolkit that allows us to reason about the neutrality and design around it. So the way it fits with BaseApp is censorship pressure shrinks these anonymity sets and invites pattern leaks, which is undermining stealth benefits. And deploying base SEP safely means pairing it with neutrality-aware ops, and privacy without neutrality is always becoming brittle. Where is it connecting with the agentic AI? So we want to, with the agentic AI, we are basically pushing the scalability and efficiency at whole another order of magnitude higher challenges that we are facing. So execution latency and inclusion risks are part of the environment, and agents must model and take into the account. Deep reinforcement learning policies, for example, should attempt to build a relay mixes, and LLMs can reason about route selection and safeguards, but it must be done at the blazing speed. Trust-enhancing mechanisms, auditable policies, inclusion lists, and everything else must complement to reduce rewarding hacking and the exploitability. And neutrality-aware agents are safer, more profitable, and more robust. So basically, all the infrastructural challenges. Who benefits and how? Users, builders, validators, regulators, policymakers. So basically, it is creating, if efficiently implemented, room for compliant, open, and competitive collaborative systems. So, shipping stealth addresses properly merged within the, for example, in Ethereum, and neutrality guardrails are allowing us to create and instrument agents with latency inclusion and signals, train with scenarios that include censorship risks, and put proper milestones and targets. So what we have to do is to treat this neutrality as a first-class metric alongside of privacy and throughput within the overall system. So takeaways: to build trustworthy decentralized economy, we need much higher levels of privacy, we need much higher levels of neutrality, and hopefully two of them are supporting in appropriately built agentic AI, which relies then on DRLs and LLM execution to fully power the DeFi. So privacy makes us who we are harder to link, and neutrality makes us what we actually do harder to block. And autonomous agents must optimize within these environments properly. Okay, the particular venues where and how we can now leverage this are, first of all, Sandy mentioned MEVs. So just recently, 3 weeks ago, we have published the most comprehensive survey of all the MEV-related challenges, issues, attacks, both for the front end and back end. This area itself is full of trading opportunities. Sandy raised the issue, is it legit? Because nothing like this in normal financial system is allowed. Within blockchain it exists. And billions are made right now in this very domain, okay? Combining what we are doing, our agents now to train on this is, for example, optimizing DeFi arbitrage with agentic AI, so DRL guided LLM trading framework. This is the process. This is one of the projects that is currently in progress by an excellent PhD student of mine. And we have already found, now please take this with reserve, we have found already in the simulated environments around 29 times relative improvement and around 60% increase in ROI on the deployment. I have to double check these numbers. This is still in the very early stages, so none of the numbers should be taken as final or any recommendation. And then the second one, execution-aware probabilistic liquidation for the AVI, which is the biggest platform for collateral loan lending and so on within the blockchain area using, again, decision agents. What we are trying to do here is we want to predict and properly model when to actually invoke the liquidations. And if we are poisoning such an environment, how can we profit from these liquidations? So again, in normal financial world, not legit. Within blockchain environment, open space, exploratory. And this is our workflow and how we are actually currently training the agents within on the domain. Okay, so uncensorability. What I like to, if I would have to connect it to just the way Sandy mentioned, like these insane ups and downs, the way I like to call them are turbulences. Ultimately safe, but we don't have stomach to handle them. Okay? And the unpredictability and behavioral impact that such events are causing, because we know even with minor, like the stock market downturns, what negative impacts that is having. This is a completely another world where macro shocks, sanctions, liquidity crunches, and everything are creating these extreme oscillations. Where these extreme oscillations are, finance people know that these are the spots where you can make money. And it's being made now. Okay? So bridging policies, effectively working, grounding agent behavior, these DRL agents must optimize under these weird regime changes, spreads, gas, inclusion risks, and everything else. And these turbulences are providing realistic training and evaluation scenarios that should be used by the agents to learn and navigate rather than to panic or to fail. And hopefully, if we are capable to do something like this, the outcome should be higher Sharpie and lower failure and slippage by avoiding censoring paths and the bad regimes that are operating within these censored, lower neutrality and lower privacy environments that are existing here. So in conclusion, just privacy is not ensuring reachability, it's not ensuring the timeliness, it's not ensuring many of the things that we would like to assume when we are building our agentic economy. Turbulences within these environments are many orders of magnitude higher than what we are familiar with from the financial world. And the neutrality techniques are the ones that should be used to kind of closing these gaps in the behavior of what these agents are doing, in a way that agentic AI can exploit these turbulences safely and within the policy requirements. So this is the conclusion where I presented 2 recent works and 2 upcoming works, and any questions would be appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you. A couple of slides back on one of your bullet points, one of the last ones, you contrasted steady state assumptions versus turbulence. And I just wanted to get your take on what you mean by steady state assumptions and where a change in steady state assumptions becomes more than just turbulence. Thanks.
Thank you. So I mean, in a well-regulated market, we know and understand behavior. So rather than trying to impose regulations on the market that we are agentic market that we are talking about, we have to learn how to live with it. So not to build within our agents any types of the assumptions. Part of the day-to-day agentic work should be to figure out the current conditions and current implicit policies and behavior that is existing within such systems to provide the regulation, policy, and so on. And if we trace back the behavior even of the traders and everyone within this ecosystem, we will realize that despite the lack of the policies imposed by governments, by entities, and so on, they always implicitly existed, almost like the way we do it at the cultural level. But they will be changing depending on the conditions. And the reliability of these agents will not be as much as particular trading mechanism that we want to build in. It will be all of these surrounding things, how to behave, how to socialize with other agents, and many other setups that will be emerging, because we will hopefully not even policy-based regulate how the emergence of the new behavior will be happening. Hope this clarifies. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor, for the insightful presentation. This will conclude our sessions for today. Now we have around 15 minutes coffee break before we reconvene back on the main room for the announcing the winner of the data science competition of ADIA Lab. Thank you.